This episode of Pucks Out Podcast is brought to you by Action 24/7, Tennessee's only local legal sports book. Use code PUCKSOUT when you make your first deposit, and our friends at Action will double your deposit up to $800. And this week, there is so many more dope events and promos happening. Make an NHL parlay today, January 20th, and get 50% of your bet back if it doesn't hit up to $50. On Friday, the 21st, venture down under to the Aussie Open. Bet $30 on tennis and you'll automatically get $20 free bet to use during the match. Prefer your tennis on tables? No worries, because Action 24/7 has you covered. Bet $8.14 on table tennis and you get another $8.14 to use on table tennis. The NFL playoffs continue, and Action 24/7 is celebrating by doing their weekly deposit boost on Saturday. Don't miss out, because their offer ends when the Titans vs. Bengals game kicks off. And finally, wrap up your week with a risk-free parlay. Everyone gets a risk-free single game parlay for either the Rams vs. Bucks or Bills or Chiefs. Terms and conditions apply. Once again, use PUCKSOUT, that's PUCKSOUT, when you make your first deposit, and Action will double it up to $800.
From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby, and back with me is Brandon Bond.
Oh, coming from like I'm a Harry Potter. I'm like Fox right now, bro. I'm the Phoenix that has risen from the ashes. I'm back.
I was wondering if you're gonna get the word Phoenix or not.
I'm losing a little bit here, man. If we're being completely honest, I'm at probably like 75%. But I'm here. I mean, I was questionable. I don't even think I ever carried the questionable tag. It was like who's somebody that always has a questionable tag, but they're playing.
Ovi.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what I was like. So glad to be back, man. Hated to miss in last week of all weeks.
Yeah. You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it.
Oh yeah, should. Yeah, I haven't been opening beers, dude. I, had a couple over the weekend watching some football.
Yeah,
and they tasted so good. I wanted to love every second of it, but it was tough.
That's a much needed beer. Definitely. I tested negative for COVID yesterday. Wanted to make sure I came in, all tested up. Still feeling a little bit down. Just when your body, I feel like my body's always in a deficit, whether it's working or it's drinking or it's partying or it's editing. You wake up sometimes hungover or just tired and you're like, is this COVID or is this just me?
Yeah. If it hits you anyway, like it hit me, you'll know for sure. But I mean, I know it feels a lot like, and I feel like I've already said this, maybe not to you. It's at this point, not having caught COVID, it was a lot like a large scale middle school dodgeball game. And the front lines, they're getting real thin. Okay. Yeah. And, so I made it all the way to 2022. Good to go. Stephanie, all the way to 2022. Good to go. And she works in a dentist office. Yeah. And then boom, we were just, 2022 hits and it's like, nah, sorry, bud. You're done.
Knock on wood, I've yet to test positive. Doesn't mean I may not have had it, but I haven't tested positive.
Well, I'm rooting for you to not have to deal with that.
Don't forget, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Check them out every Thursday for bingo night and Tuesday night for trivia. Tell them Pucks Out sent you. Go have a great time. Enjoy their new Soul Dark Lager. We
need to get some odds. We need to talk to our folks over at Action. Yeah. See if we can get some odds on Mayday's bingo night.
We can make that happen.
And we could be like point shape. We could point shape this. No problem.
Today, we're covering some hockey news. We're covering the NFL playoffs. We got our games of the week, and we're getting into the Middle East crisis and trying to solve it some way, mixed in with maybe a Me Too moment.
They've asked us to step up to the plate. I mean, they heard that now, we're officially paid to gamble, or at least tell other people to gamble. I mean, then we might as well jump in on the Middle East. I feel like that's the next step.
We are continuing the Summer of Bond with a little break and a little refresher. Little Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Got some questions, and of course, what is snapping your stick? So obviously, I kind of know the answer to this. How were you this week, bud?
Man, I was great. I actually wasn't sick at all, Bobby. I just hate you, and I didn't want to hang out with you to celebrate our great news from our new friends over at Action 24/7 Sports. Yeah. But seriously, it was obviously I never wanted to get sick, but there has been plenty of planned shows and things that are happening that it would have just been a fine miss. No big deal. This past week was absolutely a terrible time for me to come down sick, missing our celebratory Preds game that you pulled off the market specifically for us for this new partnership that we've got, and then we did our watch party for charity, which you said went really well.
Went really well. All things considering, we were a winter storm was barely down on us. We did our watch party. And raffle, all proceeds going to Action. All proceeds going to 7 Element.
You've slipped of the tongue. We didn't give anything to charity, did we, Bobby? You put it all in Action you put it all in your Action account.
It's gone.
Yeah,
it's the South Park meme.
We were going to double it up, and then boom, charity has more. He lost, everybody. That was his bad. That was his bad. No, I really appreciate you guys holding it down at May Day.
Raised $420 to help vets and first responders get into organized hockey and other sports. It was a great time.
I did a lot of just doing nothing. Laid in bed literally for about 6 days.
Were you having a quarantine from Steph, or
no? She got sick as well. Okay. We were piled up in bed together.
Yeah.
Harper'd come up there occasionally. When one of us had to get up to take the dog out, it was like death.
Right now, Megan, she tested positive and she's feeling the symptoms. She's not doing great. So we're having to quarantine in the house, which isn't great. And, she's concerned because, dogs can get COVID and there's no dog vaccine. So she's concerned about the dogs getting it.
I thought that the dogs could not. I think it was cats.
Don't know.
I think dogs can not.
Well, she's also concerned about the bunny getting it. So she's trying to stay away from the bunny. Who knows?
This is not even going to talk about that bunny.
Yeah, well, it bit me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a danger to society. I didn't want to bring it up, Bobby. You forced my hand here. So I wasn't doing great, but I feel like I tried to stay engaged if you needed me and helped out. So really great job on that. 7 Element. I hope that they're able to find. I know they will be able to find something great. Did he think I was scared of the pucks getting hit at me, and that's why I didn't show up? He was right.
Unfortunately, Brian Bailey also couldn't make it. He also had COVID, so they sent a different liaison.
Do you think? Oh, that's so good, because he was definitely, after all that smack I was talking, I was like, great, I'm not there. He's going to be like, yeah, this guy. No, I actually intentionally went and contracted COVID, so I didn't have to face him. We'll have to do something else with them. I think that should be probably our go-to charity when we need somebody to do charitable
maybe
action.
Pucks Out Casino night.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm down for that. I love casinos, so interested.
Got a little sports book in there.
I mean, we know we got a place. We know some guys. We can get some odds. Yeah. So
let's jump straight into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
Timo Meier, 5-goal game, the first 5-goal game in San Jose Sharks history. What a showing.
Happened been all the way. It didn't go past the second period, right? He got him in 2 periods.
Yeah.
Amazing. I saw it last night. I was like, oh, perfect. We can get to talk about that a little bit. Because, I mean, also, I heard you were saying, I heard what you said about me on the Evander Kane stuff. I didn't really comprehend all of it that well because
I'll be honest, I don't remember everything I was
feverish. You just mentioned Evander Kane, somebody signing him, and you said that I was a big proponent of the Pred signing him or something like that, something dumb like that, where I was like, I heard it and I processed it. I thought about texting you about it, and then I was like, I have 101 fever. I'm not gonna do anything about it. It was something.
I don't think it was about the Evander Kane. I think it was about.
It could have been any. Literally, I listened.
It was about
to
James
this.
Bond. I said you loved the.
You
James
said I love that. No, it was a couple of different things
Yeah.
that you said where I couldn't defend myself, and like again, listened to it, make sure it sounded good. It did sound great doing it by yourself. I don't know that I retain a lot. Now that could be just because we say nothing and of no real actual value to people, and maybe this is why people listen to us is because it's just in one ear and out the other.
It's like white noise.
You don't have to. You don't actually have to hear what we're saying. They're like, oh, they're complaining.
Subliminal messaging.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we haven't had completely opposite takes on the same thing, back to back weeks. So, but it sounded good. Yeah. I just knew I was like, I'm going to say something. I didn't retain it though. So.
In fact, if you play us backwards, it's like a satanic version of the I Love Lucy.
We were actually the second. The first was, what was it? Snyder. We're not gonna take it. Yeah, he was like the lead guy of that lawsuit. We were actually right behind him being the face of that lawsuit. Yeah, we were so close. We didn't have our action sponsorship yet. Though, was the problem.
Fan selects Stamkos, Kadri, Zibanejad, and Terry as the 2022 NHL All-Star last met in. I don't like this. I was kind of hoping that Barzal and Yossi were going to be two of the last guys in for their respective divisions, but, Stamkos and Terry, can't super disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to go to the All-Star game. I don't look at it as maybe a slight from the fans, but it means
it's really about which fan base is more active online.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's like a one vote type of situation. Like the people with more time can go and vote more.
Yeah,
daily. I mean,
you're allowed 10 votes. Like,
yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why not just do one? I mean, if you're allowed to continue to do it daily, then why not just do one? What it makes sense if it's 10? You're only rewarding the guy that remembers to go online and vote 10 times.
Yeah, sure.
So
Leon Draisaitl called pissy by reporter. If you haven't seen it yet, go on Twitter. It's all over Twitter. I talked about it on Twitter a little bit on my personal one.
He was pissy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Listen,
pissy.
a lot of people are mad at the journalism. Like, oh, what right do you have? I mean, dude.
What right do you have? That's his job, man. Like,
NHL fans forever been saying we're tired of the cliche, we got to just get pucks in deep. We got to grind a little bit harder. So a reporter finally calls him out on it, and now everyone's mad. No, dude. Listen.
People just want to be mad.
Here's the thing. I'm not mad at either Leon Draisaitl or the guy who asked the question. What upsets me is the NHL and the CBA and the NHLPA forcing these guys to go out and be in this situation, because I promise you, the reporters don't really want to be asking these guys these questions after a big loss, and the players definitely don't want to be there, but they're required to. So I'd have more respect for you if you just went out there and were like, yeah, I'm not going to answer anything. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I mean, but if any answer is fine, but when you give a snippy answer at somebody, another grown man who knows, don't act like that guy's stupid just because he's not you.
Yeah.
You talk a certain way to somebody. Don't be surprised if they talk a certain way back. That's all I'm saying. I mean, there's nobody wrong in this situation.
And that journalist, his job is to get eyes on an article, whether it's through compelling questions and getting compelling answers, which we're not going to get in this situation, or asking something like this and then, having a prime opportunity to say, why are you so pissy?
And
knowing that it's going to go viral.
It wasn't like after just a cliched answer, the reporter said it. It was after Draisaitl said something like, I mean, why don't you just tell me since you know everything?
Yeah.
That's pissy. Okay. Yeah. That's pissy. You're a grown man. We're
all professionals here.
We're all professionals. We work for the same goal, different, I'm a reporter, you're a player.
Let's stop acting like this is like, some pure thing where it's only about the sport. This is an entertainment game. Right. You get paid because fans come and see you, and because
I ask questions, because people watch you, because I ask questions. It's a circle of life.
Yeah, you're sitting in front of a branded background with, whatever sponsorship is back there. Your job is to get eyes on the sport. You are one of the premier players. It's not like he's asking some third liner.
10 million reasons to sit up there and no comment us if you want.
Yeah, you have every right to do that.
People got just as excited about Marshawn Lynch saying, I'm just here so I don't get fined, as we did if he gave us the most eloquent answer to why the Seahawks had lost that previous game or whatever. It doesn't matter, because he can give us the answer, he cannot. Turns out that his analysis of that previous game didn't matter. It ultimately, none of this, it's sports, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a fun way to, so, don't forget, you're getting paid a lot of money to play this game. And don't answer questions. Nobody's saying you need to give us insightful answers, but don't be a little bitch about it.
For sure. Moving on, let's move out to outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
All right, playoffs week 1 are in the books. And also a reminder for everyone out there, you can now go and order for free COVID test to your home for free. Check it out. Just Google.
Is that what the free meant when you said it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just making sure. I mean, people are going to hear that and they're like,
How much does it cost?
$0.
But to you, how much do they charge you?
Oh, wow. About 50 bucks.
Oh, okay. 50 for you, free for everybody else though.
Yeah. I mean, I have like 5 different addresses. I'm stockpiling, just like with Xboxes, I'm going to, resell them, make a profit on that free.
Yeah.
I'm not good at business.
A graphics card.
Yeah. I paid more and I'm going to sell them for nothing. I don't know business.
Bobby, that's the golden rule is buy high, sell low. Yeah. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Wall Street Bets taught me that.
Yeah. All right. So playoffs week 1 is in the books. Honestly, a lot of people were talking shit about this wild card weekend. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Too.
People are like, oh, we only like close games, bro.
A lot of blowouts, but it was
honestly
fun.
And maybe I'm, just because I'm a fan of I'm not a fan of the teams that got beat. So I was happy seeing the Steelers get embarrassed. Yeah. One thing I am happy about is for those of you that listened last week, I called a lot of that. I said the Steelers cannot compete with Kansas City. I said they were going to get blown out.
You had some really, really good takes.
And I wish I put money on it, but I did text you before the game and said,
what happened, Bobby? Because when we're around, you never have great takes like that. This past week, I'm gone. Boom.
You're cursed.
Your IQ goes. Yeah. No, you had some really good calls.
If I put money on that alt spread for the Kansas City game, I mean, I probably would have pushed.
And I think the San Francisco game you called as well.
I think I think I said -10. I think there was a late score that made it. I think they won by 6. I think, but it was still pretty close.
Yeah, I had them money line. I think I had them +3.
And I took, I put a good bit of money on Tampa -11. That was solid.
A good weekend of football. I'm noticing that you haven't mentioned the one game that had an opportunity to show that you were smarter than me, though, and didn't.
Which one was that?
The New England Bills game.
Now, here's the thing.
This is more back to our water bet.
Well, no, if you remember, I did specifically say, because I was wrong about the division winner, I said New England wins the division, loses in the playoffs to Buffalo. I said that because I was like, honestly, Buffalo is a better team.
Yeah, that was not.
I was not expecting it to be that. That was bad.
They were talking like 27. I mean, I was for a little while. I was nervous about like a hammer the over type of deal that I had. That it was like
I think it ended up being like 21 or 19 by the end of the hammer the over.
No, I think it was like down to like 11.
Oh, 11,
and I was still like worried about it. I was like, oh, I don't know. That's like
I didn't honestly. The only bet I put a very small Pats +4. Like I'm talking like $3 bet because I was telling some people I was talking to. I was like, honestly.
I stayed away from the game.
I was like, I don't know what could happen. This is a New England team that I don't feel comfortable with.
I was like,
honestly, if this was this was just a cold game, not even that windy. So I was like, I'm going to stay away because this felt like the most unpredictable game of the weekend.
It was. I mean,
I felt confident in saying that Dallas was going to lose.
The score of the game, if you would have told me it's the complete opposite and the Patriots won with the score that the Bills had and the Bills had the Patriots score, I would not even be surprised. Yeah. That could have happened to any. If you would have told me it was 7-3, I would have been like, okay, yeah, no. Bills looked good. I'm really, really looking forward to this Kansas City Buffalo matchup.
Yeah,
I think both of us have. I mean, as far as from going back through what we predicted, it wasn't like we put anything on it, just some predictions. We both hit on. You thought San Francisco was going to win the division. They didn't. They went to the playoffs. I thought Steelers were going to win. They went to the playoffs. Neither of us had the Cardinals. I think both of us had Kansas City. Both of us had the Titans. Both of us had Green Bay. I had Dallas. Both of us had the Bucks. I mean, we did a pretty good job at Bills. We both have that. I think I have Bills Packers as the Super Bowl with the Packers winning. I'm hoping that's not correct.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that the Titans are looking like a strong team.
Titans Bucks
could be. I mean, Tom Brady's Tom Brady.
I do not want Green. I don't want Green Bay to win, and I don't think they have.
I threw a little bit of a dart throw. Threw a little bit of dart throw money at Tom Brady for MVP. I know at plus 700, it was something that I needed to.
I mean, at that age, man. I mean, he's doing MVP things, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't argue to me that Tom Brady's not more important to the Buccaneers than Aaron Rodgers is to the Packers. I don't know. I mean, I could see it going to Aaron Rodgers, but I said at plus 700 for what I feel is closer to plus 300 odds. I just.
Well, I mean, we know that Aaron Rodgers lost a MVP voter. Because they had a big falling out, so that's at least one definitely not for him.
Yeah, personally, I think that is silly for any voter to
be public
use any type of be public, but use any type of thing that's not football. I don't like that.
Yeah. Here's the thing: everyone knows that's happening. Like where it's human nature,
sure,
but you're not supposed to. You said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that I would be able to get over that as a voter. Not that anybody's ever going to be asking me to vote for if we keep it up, Bob. If we continue,
there's a reason OJ's not in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. I would say I think I would allow potential murder to creep into my mind a bit. I cannot help myself. I don't know that I would do that with vaccination status.
If the glove don't fit, you must give a golden jacket.
What game? Let's go with what team you think has the best chance for an upset. We have 8 teams remaining.
Is Cincinnati considered an upset? I mean,
yes.
I don't. Are they?
That would be
what's the spread on the Titans Cincinnati game? Do we have that
I want to say it is 3.5.
Titans favored.
Let's see what our friends are saying over at Action. Action 24/7.
I can't remember the
minus 3. The 3.5 is the line.
So here's the thing: you get 3 points just for being the home team. So really, they're saying that Titans are favored by half a point.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Cincinnati's a good.
I'll be completely honest. I think this is a pick'em game.
Yeah, I would say that yes. If you want to pick that as the biggest upset of the weekend,
who are the Niners playing?
They're the Niners are playing the Packers, and that's what I was gonna say. I think
the possibility is there, man.
That's what I was gonna say.
He's looking good.
I'm not gonna put a boatload of money on it or anything, but Action has them at the Niners at plus 185. That's one of those games that the Packers should go in there and blow them out. The right things happen for San Francisco, and they could win this football game for sure.
Yeah, I also think it depends on the weather in at Lambeau.
I think this is a weekend where if all 4 underdogs won, if the Bills, Bengals, Rams, and Niners were the 4 remaining teams, like I would be a little surprised, but not massively surprised.
Yeah.
I think that matchups are really good.
I think a very disproportionate wildcard weekend is leading to a very close divisional round.
Absolutely. I don't want to play the Bengals, but it's crazy.
I think that's the worst. I think that's the worst matchup for the Titans. To be completely honest,
I'd rather play the Bengals than I would rather play the other 2. I mean, we beat the other 2. We can go in and beat them again.
The problem is like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That is I don't see the Titans stopping them. They're going to have, and that's my that is my biggest concern.
The Raiders kept it close.
Yeah, but to say that one like that same team is going to come in and be against that. I mean,
those two are the unknown that could be dagger to any team.
And the problem is if you double team Chase, they still have weapons.
Yeah, I'm banking on some lack of playoff experience, which tends to help out more than it doesn't with those. I think
it's not like the Titans have a crap ton of playoff experience.
Well, over the past few years, Ryan Tannehill has got his play in the playoffs, and he's played in conference championships and won playoff games.
And I'm still, and listen, I know that I've gone back and forth. I've seesawed on Ryan Tannehill. And I've said, Ryan Tannehill proved me wrong. You got to prove me wrong in the playoffs. It's a different animal in the playoffs. We've seen that.
But he's won playoff games minimally and doing what he needed to do. We've seen players win Super Bowls by doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger's first Super Bowl was do what you need to do and win a Super Bowl.
Titans going to have to. They need their stars to show up for sure.
Yes.
This cannot be they put it on.
I don't even think they need. They need adequate receiver and tight end play, and whether it's Derrick Henry or it's Foreman or Hilliard, honestly, they have to be able to run the football.
The last game, Ryan Tannehill bailed them out because of once again bad play by Terrell Lewan. Terrell Lewan tried to blow the season for them yet again. He is allowing Ryan Tannehill to get beat up every week. And like I've said 1,000 times, Terrell Lewan is not a good football player, and I think that is the biggest weakness, and I think Cincinnati knows that, and they're going to exploit.
But that is the advantage that the Titans have is that Cincinnati line ain't anything to write home about. It's not, despite our disagreement on Taylor Lewan, I don't think he's one of the best left tackles in the league. I don't think he's garbage, either. But they're not a stout defensive line. He's gotten pushed around by the Jets. I think the advantage for the Titans is going to be our defensive line against their offensive line.
Yeah,
I think
I think the Titans can win this game handily if they make Joe Burrow throw this ball within less than 3 seconds. If they can keep the pressure on Joe Burrow,
he's good at that. I mean, he's definitely good at that.
He's good at that. So we need to make him uncomfortable.
We need some coverage. We need coverage sacks to win this football.
Because of how young he is, we need to come out hot and get a couple interceptions. I'm saying the Titans need to come out hot.
I know what you're saying.
Get a couple interceptions. I don't want people thinking I'm being biased as a fan. If the Titans,
we're biased. We're not. Look, we're not sitting here to give our neutral opinion.
If the Titans can come out hot and get in Joe Burrow's head, I think that this is a cakewalk. If they let Joe Burrow get hot and get him a little swagger going, then we're going to start seeing Jamar Chase get a little swagger, and they're going to.
I'm going to hit you with this.
Titans cannot lose the momentum of being the home team.
I'm going to hit you with this. This is something that I 100% guarantee. Write it down. Do whatever you need. If this was a bet on Action 247, they would give you, minus 100 million. This is happening. The team that scores the most points is gonna win the game, and I'll say that. And I'm not scared to say it, Bobby. I'm not scared to call my shot right now.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say about the Titans Bengals.
Yeah.
Chiefs Bills.
That is honestly, I think, the hardest one of the weekend.
Hardest one of the weekend because you think Tampa and you think Green Bay.
I think. Again, pick them. This is going to be in Buffalo, correct? Or is this in Kansas City?
Kansas City,
there
Kansas
too.
City. Yeah. Titans are the only if Titans are playing football, they're playing in Nissan. That's the
I think
thing.
that both teams are good in whatever weather they're going to play in. I think Kansas City.
I'm not worried about weather.
We've seen that Buffalo doesn't play well in super. I mean, if it's super windy and they have to rely on the run,
nobody can. Nobody really can.
The Patriots were able to dissect them on the ground.
Because I can't take Bill Belichick, the genius of our time, outmaneuvered somebody in weather as a Buffalo can't play in weather now. That's I just see that as that's Bill Belichick winning football games he shouldn't have won.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Chiefs. I think that this is one of those prime times when playoff experience comes in, and Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. And
2.5 points is the line right now that Action is giving us.
I like it.
Plus 105 for the Bills.
I might take a. Depending on the value, I might take Chiefs
minus 130. I mean, you're not going to get a better Chiefs money line all year.
Line. I might take Chiefs minus 9.5.
Minus 9.5. Let me tell you. Let's see what our boys over there have on that. But, I mean, I like the Rams, dude. I don't know. I like the Rams. I like McVay. I like him getting another shot. He did really well going all the way with Jared Goff. Matt Stafford's a different kind of player. Cooper Kupp's being a different kind of player. Cam Akers coming
Odell
back.
Beckham is looking
Odell
good.
Beckham is, he had something snap with him.
Action had a boost where a first touchdown scorer insurance this past week for that Rams game. And I looked at it, and I had two people selected for the first touchdown score, and I was going to put $25 on it. OBJ and Zach Ertz. I was like, I think the Cardinals are going to get the ball first. And I think it's going to be a shootout. I'm going to take in Zach Ertz instead of OBJ. Cardinals did get the ball first. It was not a shootout. So I lost that, but I got a free bet.
Okay, I'm seeing -6.5. Let's see. Okay, so -6.5 for the Chiefs would be plus 225.
So maybe plus 500, plus 670 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you've been making great calls and that kind of that. I mean, I'd throw $5-10 on it if I were you. I mean, you know, we hailed each other on that over. I mean, because the curse is broken. You know, we won that. So, and then I threw. Hey, you want to know what I threw my $63 bet on?
What?
I was like, it's plus 115 for under 1.5 goals first period. Preds Blues. I was like, let me see if I can win this money or not. I think 4 goals in the.
I think I took Preds money line on that game. That's all I had for that.
Yeah, I when it was 3-4 towards the end, I was watching the football game, so I wasn't watching the Preds game. It was plus 600. I was like, I'm gonna throw 5 on it just to because hey, look, we've been there 3-1 with about the same amount of time, and we got to see a win. So
especially against St. Louis.
But I knew I was gonna get. I had them in games of the week, so I was like, oh well, I better bet against myself because I'm garbage when it comes to that. So, yeah, that one's going to be a crazy game, but I think I'm going to put some money on the Rams. I think I just keep doing that because I threw a free bet that I had on the Eagles. I think that I just want to see Tom Brady lose. You know, you're not supposed to let the personal creep into your money, but I think it's just creeping in. You're like, well, he's not going to win again. What is he going to win 8 Super Bowls? What an idiot.
10. He's leaving after he gets 10. You know, I saw this thing where it's like, my parents, my dad had Bradshaw. My grandpa had somebody. I have Tom Brady. My kids love Tom Brady, and my grandkids will have Tom Brady as
and their grandkids, they're gonna have Tom Brady as well. So they're actually gonna at that point.
Tom Brady will be throwing touchdowns.
Your great grandkids, they're actually gonna start calling Tom Brady a rookie again when he turns 100. He's gonna be 1 year old.
Yeah.
So. I think he should change. If he changed his name like Ocho Cinco, do you think that they would just like reset his clock?
Mustache on him?
Just Rom Frady.
Honestly, he's like, he also has the rushing yards record because he's been getting like 2 yards a game. So he's at
there it is.
It's like, well, he's a 2,000-yard rusher.
Emmett who?
All right, guys, let's move into games of the week.
We actually missed Novak Djokovic getting banned from Australia.
Novak's Djokovic banned from Australia.
Does that make you feel bad that I'm not you specifically, but more talking to Novak here, that you're not allowed on a prison colony with my boy Keith? Keith was instrumental in keeping him. My question is,
this has got to be the first person in history. Actually, no. I think Tom Cruise got kicked out of Australia because he brought dogs there or something.
I would kick him out of there no matter what.
It might have been Tom Hanks. Some actor got kicked out of Australia.
The absolute... Some people defending, look, you can disagree with whether or not, you should be vaccinated or whatever. But we can all agree that when you lie on visa forms and you don't tell the truth and get sent out of the country, that's not crazy, right? They're asking the questions for a reason. So whether or not you agree, I just don't know why people are defending. Do we
Johnny
want
Depp
different?
Was kicked out.
He's getting kicked out of everywhere. That doesn't count. Do we not? I mean, we don't want different rules for the rich and famous, right? I mean, if I, as a person, would get kicked out for lying on my visa form, I would hope that the third best, tennis player in history would. Yeah, I know he was the second behind Federer to me, but now he's gone back to third behind Nadal.
And I think I think Belgium and some other countries.
Yeah, there's another. I mean, imagine. Just you're right. He's on the cusp of being the Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
And just missing majors, and I mean, not his young year. These are not his prime years. I mean, we all agree that Djokovic had a good chance of winning the Australian Open, and he'll have a good chance of winning the. Is it the French Open, right?
I think so.
French Open.
Yeah, the French turned him away.
Yeah, I mean, Stick by your principles, but don't lie on the visa forms if they're not letting you in.
Like that's my biggest thing. Like if you really like,
you don't really believe in what you're saying. If you're trying to lie about it, if you really believed like, hey, this is bad, then tell people about it. I don't agree with you. I think it's dangerous, but don't pretend like you have been, Aaron Rodgers. You know what I didn't get to talk about though?
What?
Your boy, another dynasty champion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 3-peat, baby. I get to keep the trophy. Literally the only thing I care. It's getting me through the day, Bob.
All right, let's move into games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right, you had a pretty good week. Comeback season.
I deliriously, feverishly picked my picks. Apparently did really well.
Yeah. So you're gonna start looking at airplane toilet seats, getting ready for the comeback.
I've been contacting people to see how I can just have COVID constantly.
Yeah.
So
current score update. I'm at 43, 21-3. You are at 34, 30-3.
So 9 down, not horrendous. That's doable. You have a pretty solid lead. I'm going to need you to mess up.
Yeah.
That's really what's
it's doable.
What's going to boil down. Remember last time, I think it was about like this, about the same time. And you made that massive comeback that if we would have had 2 more weeks of games of the week, you would have beat me. All
right. So why don't you start us off with your first game of the week?
All right. So I'm just going to pick in the moment. Capitals Bruins Thursday. The 20th at 6 p.m. Bruins have been hot. I'm going Bruins.
Thursday, 9 p.m. San Jose versus Seattle. San Jose's been hot. Seattle, actually, since they are undefeated since they've gotten a team dog. But I think San Jose wins this.
Okay. Friday, 6 p.m. I feel like what is the best game of the whole slate that any of us picked. The Rangers Hurricanes. Was very surprised you did not pick that game. I'm keeping it surprising. I'm going Rangers.
You're going to just not tell anybody.
I'm just not going to tell you.
Tell us afterwards.
I'm going to guess. After the game happens, I'll tell you which team I picked.
But you're honorable. So you're like, guys, I picked the wrong team.
I really would, but you know me.
Yeah.
I don't like to win via cheating. Love to win. Don't like a cheat.
Yeah. Okay, on Friday at 6:30, a little bit after your game starts, I got Dallas versus Detroit. Dallas has regressed a little bit, but I like them in this game.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have for my next game Saturday, a Detroit game. Actually, your game is next.
Saturday, I've got a Boston game at 2 p.m. On Saturday, they're taking on Winnipeg. I've got Boston winning. Boston's just they've split up that perfection line like I talked about last week, and it's looking like it's working out for them.
Yeah, I was disappointed with Boston. I did use my $50 free action bet on Taylor Hall to record a point and lost that. Well, I lost that one, and then he records point. Yeah. He's recorded points ever since. So everybody else, you're welcome.
Taylor Hall. Oh, you talking about on Saturday on the Preds game?
No. When I signed up.
No. Okay.
I know he recorded one. Then it was the game before that, where I was just trying to cash in on that $50 bet, just trying to get a little bit because it was just for signing up, and that was one of the few bets that I've lost on action so far. So. They've been looking really good. I have a Wings game as well. Red Wings Predators Saturday, 7 p.m. Preds on a little bit of a skid since we're talking about it. I think they're going to win this one.
I think
Preds Red Wings. I'm going to go with the Preds.
I think the Preds get back on track tonight as of recording.
Yeah, losing to Boston and the Blues. While nobody ever wants to lose to the Blues. Let's not pretend like these aren't 2 of the better teams in the NHL that were, okay losses after the little stretch we've gone.
Yeah. Let's see. I've got on Sunday.
I think it's actually me on Sunday. Jets playing the Pens. Not a lot of good on Sunday. I actually like your game better, and I picked mine first. I'm gonna go with the Pens against the Jets. They have not been clicking like they should. That was the one game I lost last week was the Penguins over the Kings, and you told me, you're like, I don't know about it, and it was a good call. I should have listened to you. But I'm gonna go with the Pens against the Jets on Sunday the 23rd at noon.
I honestly sometimes I forget the Jets still have a team.
They do. They have the team. They're called the Atlanta Thrashers.
Yeah, there's a good chance I saw that because of the restrictions they might be playing somewhere else. And so someone was like, yeah, the Jets are going to move again before Arizona does.
They're going back to Atlanta.
All right, Sunday, I've got at 6 p.m. the Kings taking on the Devils. The Kings, honestly, that Pacific Division is struggling, but I like the eye test from the Kings, and I think they're going to take this game.
Really normally don't do this. I don't generally take the same team, but I really didn't see any other games on Monday that really struck out at me. Ducks playing the Bruins Monday, the 24th at 6 p.m. I really want to pick the Ducks here, but again, the Bruins are playing such good hockey that I think I'm going to go with the Bruins. Probably an overtime game.
The Ducks have regressed a lot. I believe as of recording, they've won 1 out of their last 9, and I want to say 12 out of their last 24 games or something like that. And with all the postponements, they have not been playing well for like 2 months.
They have a lot of COVID listed folks. Well,
my last game of the week, Monday, also at 6 p.m. I've got Vegas versus Washington. I think Washington takes this game, and I think Ovi gets a goal or two. I mean, Vegas.
If only there was like some way that we could take what we predicted and then make money.
Yeah, and you can do that.
We'll think about
24/7.
Oh, good idea.
All right, let's move over to our joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. Yeah, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
Kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
What you got?
Finally, we couldn't also make the joke of the week my games of the week picks from the week before. So unfortunately, we had to actually get a joke of the week. This one, I don't really know if this is an anti-joke of the week, Bob, because this is more talking about corporate culture changing, which is a good thing, right? We want the corporate culture to change. The Taliban dismissed 3,000 members for committing abuses in Afghanistan. So the Taliban apparently does have a limit to...
Folks, your voice matters. They heard you on Twitter. They heard you on Instagram.
They dismissed 3,000 members accused of abusive practices from its extremists. So wait, I'm so sorry. There is a faction within the Taliban that's the extremist faction. And their widespread vetting process launched since coming to power. They took back control of Afghanistan in August. They promised a softer rule than their 1996 to 2001 regime. So they're already making promises. This is like it just seems a lot like the kiss of death when they're like, I have full confidence in my head coach. We're going to be fine. They're
making the same mistake everyone does. They're bringing in Urban Meyer to change the culture.
What an absolute joke. So far, 2,840 members have been dismissed. I would just like what it would be to be a fly on the wall to get a management class from a Taliban member. The middle management of Taliban calling people in and being like, hey, man, we gotta let you go.
How sketched out do you think everyone was when like the head of HR for the Taliban's like, hey, guys, we want to hear your voice. Let us know. Come forward with any complaints.
They put a little box out. They put a little comment card box.
They start looking over your shoulder when you're writing. You're like, oh.
Yeah. So you've done really good work for us. I hate to be the guy that's having this conversation. I mean, you beheaded 50 people last year, and I need
to see the Office Space remake.
That is
the Taliban.
That is beyond anything that we could have ever hoped for from you, Ahmed. But I did see.
I'm gonna need you to come in on Sunday
when we were actually cutting the head off of that musician. I did see you bob your head a little bit, and I'm gonna be honest with you. We can have that here. People getting canceled left and right, and the Taliban doesn't want to get caught up in this wave of large-scale terrorist organizations that are taking over countries.
They have an image to protect.
We have an image. What an absolute joke that I really would just love to see the management style of just calling somebody in. Like, do they have email? Do they have like an email? Like, hey, you gotta see, or is it just like it's just like a pass along? Like, hey, when you see this guy, tell him to come see me because we got to talk.
What do you think the health insurance is like for them?
It's not good. I would have to imagine it's better than America's, but it's not.
Clearly.
Yeah, it's not good. We're not.
Nobody's
we're not being
questioning that it's better than
crazy.
America.
We're not being crazy, but it's not good. I would have to imagine. I would actually have to imagine the severance package would be worse than the healthcare. You probably don't get Cobra, and you probably also don't have your head.
Yeah.
So you are probably dead. I would imagine. Way I'm reading this, it hasn't said it outright, but I would imagine 3,000 new people are dead. And I mean, not that I'm rooting, for these particular three, but maybe they're tricked into it. They didn't know what contract they were signing before they signed it, type of deal.
Yeah. This isn't a place where you can I don't think there's a head of the union there.
Yeah. I mean, well, maybe some of them are contracted henchmen. Though,
True.
Which we've talked about before. How do you get into that line of business? I mean, I would imagine you just go to, you either become a pirate or you go join a regime of some sort. But, I'm going to have to imagine that it was the benefits not dying is probably the best benefit that you get for being a part of the Taliban. But not a lot of great benefits, I would have to imagine. I haven't seen their employment contract though, so I'm not going to speak on it. I'm going to have to imagine bad though.
Yeah, probably not great. All right, we're going to move into our pop culture segment. We are talking Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. This was a nice little refresher.
Yeah, I mean, it was so well done. Mike Myers is such a comedic genius that it actually, I've seen this movie hundreds of times. It was never as bad as it was this time, but only because I've seen all these other James Bond movies that it's basically making fun of. And at this point, I don't know which one is satire. I don't know which one of these are trying to actually be serious. And it was disturbing. Mike Myers is so funny though.
Yeah, he's a mastermind.
This one is great. I actually love Goldmember. Is my favorite
I've seen that one a couple
James
times.
Bond or James.
I love gold.
Yes, fat bastard, hilarious.
Smoking a pancake.
His dad, who plays his dad? Is it Michael Caine?
Is it Michael Caine? Is it a young?
I think it is Michael Caine. I think it's
young Michael Caine.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy to me that that this movie came out in '97, which it's so funny. I mean, gotta love Elizabeth Hurley. Looking great as always, super funny. Seth Green, hilarious. Number 2, the Lucky Charms guy. They're after me, Lucky Charms. They get to chuckling about it. When he asked for $1 million, they're like, the fake company that he had, we made over $9 billion. He's like, $100 million. And everybody's like, yeah, that's good. So many funny. I mean, it was almost like Odd Job.
Random Task.
Random Task.
Not so fun story. The guy who played Random Task is serving life in prison. I just did a quick,
for throwing a shoe.
Well, for rape.
Oh,
and then torture.
Okay,
and
wow, it really brought me down.
He got sentenced to 9 years in prison, and then tortured his cellmate to death, and got sentenced to life in prison. So
awesome, man! That really brought. I'm really glad we lightened the mood with Austin Powers, man. At least it was the characters and the actual the James Bond movies. At least it was the characters that were the felons. Now,
because it was interesting, not that, but to see like a lot of actors who got their stuff. Like Will Ferrell had a spot in here.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, there was
Rob Lowe is like in a background character, and he gets a larger spot later on.
So many. I mean, in number 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Will Smith's, just the two of us. Remember, that's like going to be a big part of that. I'm super excited. That I think was one of my. I really like The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Yeah,
too,
I like that one a lot.
But it is funny because I'd watched these movies before I'd ever watched the James Bond movies, and so
I didn't realize how much was taken from that.
Exactly. I mean, not just how much. It was literally like all of it.
A lot of vagina.
One of my favorite lines is when he's in the casino right before he meets a lot of vagina.
Allow myself to introduce.
Not that one. When he was walking by that guy and he goes, "There you are." And that guy goes, "Do I know you?" And he goes, "No, but there you are." And literally, I cracked me up, because you're younger and you watch it, you don't understand every joke. Loved it. So glad to kind of get the break. We got to do a recording.
Yeah.
Though of us watching very soon.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, no, it was great. All right, let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
Last week, or I guess this weekend, not this weekend, last weekend, I wanted to wait till you were back so I could have a sounding board. The Raiders game and the Chargers game where first off, I was happy. I did not like what the Chargers did. I think that he should lose his job. He cost his team a spot in the playoffs. That timeout at the end was the most ridiculous thing in the world. And I get it. The Raiders, it was like a game of chicken, that they were playing. Like, should we tie? Should we not? And Raiders were 100% complete, fine with getting a tie until that timeout was called. But Al Davis is turning over in his grave. The amount of hatred Al Davis had for the Steelers, it was a petty type of hate. He would have done everything in his power to make sure that the Steelers didn't make the playoffs. And my hatred for the Steelers. Everyone does. I hated seeing them get into the playoffs, but I am, consolation prize, got to see them get embarrassed. So I'm really not happy that, and I'm not, I know it says Raiders not going for the tie. I'm more, what snaps my stick is more the Chargers calling that timeout and causing that line of events to occur.
Yeah, I had not really paid a whole lot of attention to that whole thing. I caught the tail end of it and what happened. But I had watched the Titans play that day and I'd come back home, I had other things to do. So I never even really watched that Sunday night game.
Yeah.
To the point where I forgot to throw in a bet that I was going to put on the Chargers -3. So thank goodness I didn't do that. Yeah, that was crazy. I feel bad for Justin Herbert. I feel like this is the one spot that you can look at and say, I don't think that the most deserving team got to that spot. I mean, obviously,
we deserve to see Justin Herbert in the playoffs.
Yes.
But they didn't win.
It'll happen. I mean, that's not the end of Justin Herbert. The guy's a fantastic football player. And no game is won by one play. We know we've said that 100 times.
I had a whole rant about it last week.
I know. And it was one of the few smart things you've ever said in your life, Bob. No, I mean, and I say it all the time. You can say I think the biggest example is the Saints game that pass interference call, they say it cost them the game. My thing is, well, they got the ball after that. They had a chance to score then, and they had 100 times before then to score the points that they needed to win the football game. No game is lost on one. Bad calls happen and they affect the outcome of the game for sure, but no game is won or lost on one play.
Dallas,
I completely agree.
The ref, everyone's blaming the ref. The ref was don't blame the ref. The ref was doing his job. He had that
and
blame Dak for running up the middle.
Not even that. Yards. I mean, that was not the smart, but blame him for not holding onto that football, making sure it got right into the ref's hand.
Yeah.
Step back, boom, you had but I mean, it still wouldn't have mattered. I mean, it was a bad play call. It was a bad play call. I mean, running right up the middle and not even heading towards the sideline.
Yeah, and he's an NFL quarterback. He knows he knows how to time management. He knew what time left on the clock he had to go down and get back up.
Exactly. That wasn't the better football team won too. I think if Dallas would have won, it would have been crazy for them.
No, I agree. I mean, it wasn't just my, Washington football team fandom. I bet Niners.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, I threw my money that way as well. Mine, as you know, I'm a huge Whataburger fan. We've talked about it. We've got it. We've got one in Hermitage now. And there's going to be more in the Middle Tennessee area.
One in where the old Chicago was in Murfreesboro.
It's there already?
It's being built. The sign is there.
I'm so excited because I love Whataburger. So we're finally, Stephanie and I are finally kind of in the clear. We're still kind of drained from being just sick all week, but we're in the clear. I'm like, oh, we're off yesterday. I'm gonna go get some Whataburger. When there's like a really long line somewhere and you're like, wow, why are people waiting this? This was beyond that. This was like, it was like
Stupidity.
across like the Lowe's parking
Yeah,
lot
that's
and
what I've heard.
stuff. Like it was.
I've seen videos. It's gone viral like worldwide. Like
We-
people making fun of people. for
We
this.
turned around like, dude, just go to like it would be cheaper and save you time if you're just like, dude, I'm gonna go to Alabama real quick and grab.
Well, people were
whatever.
saying that if you just park and go in, people were taking videos. They were out in like 10 minutes because like the line.
That's
is,
how we thought about doing that, but we just just to be safe.
Yeah,
we didn't
yeah, for
want to
sure.
go in
and I think that's what a lot of.
I'm not a
things-
jerk. I'm not a jerk.
Yeah.
I'm just mad that it wouldn't deliver. I would have waited at any
Yeah.
moment. But we had done good before the COVID of ordering, and dude, COVID hit. It was like, bro, we ain't getting up and making anything. Uber Eats was a good friend of ours, and there
Like,
was
come on in. Bring
one
it to my bed.
we got it got delivered to the wrong house.
Oh, so you just
And
order
dude,
again.
Yeah, I mean, we got the money back and we ordered again from the same place, like the same order. I was not happy because,
You find out that's the neighbor who's doing Uber Eats now.
yeah, well, I mean, but it almost happened again to the other one. Now we caught him. I was like, Isaac, that's great. We saw him putting it down.
Oh,
Like, no, not today. Because I didn't recognize the door when they had the pictures. But what a burger lines, you're absolutely garbage. It's great. I did not wait in the line. I'm allowed to go, but not wait in that ridiculous
All right, guys. What a great show. We'll see you guys next week.
line. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.